Good morning, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Webb Martin, and I would like to welcome you to my assembly called Every Hero Has a Story. Now, of course, you are all heroes, and a lot of people this day and age are heroes because they have helped us. But there are heroes of the past and heroes of the future which we have still to learn about. The heroes that I am going to discuss with you are people who I admire because they have done a lot for other people, or they are people who have come through extreme adversity to make something of their lives. Let me share with you. The four people I would like to speak about today are Roger Federer, Alice Battenberg, will.i.am, and Bella Lack. Let me introduce my first hero, Roger Federer. He was born in August 1981. His father was a Swiss German and his mother was a South African. He has one sister who is the mother of a set of twins. He played a lot of sport as a child, and through sport he developed his hand-eye coordination. He grew up learning how to speak 6 languages. He started his life in tennis as a ball boy. He is married to Miroslava Federer, who he met at the Sydney Olympics when they were both competing for Switzerland in the tennis. Between them, they have 2 sets of identical twins. The eldest are girls and the youngest are boys. Roger is a hugely successful tennis player who is admired by many. He is ranked number 3 in the world just now, although he has been number 1. He has been and won many Grand Slam titles, including Wimbledon, and he has both silver and gold medals in the Olympics. His style of tennis is amazing. He is a tennis hero because he is so humble and he plays so hard. He has to practice a lot. His tennis shots and strands look very much like those of a ballerina. It is not only for his tennis that I admire Roger. He is a great example to all. He is an incredible philanthropist, which means he does a lot for charity. Not only has he responded to many natural disasters around the world by raising and donating money to victims of tsunamis, earthquakes and hurricanes, he has also focused his attention on the education of disadvantaged children, both in South Africa, where his mother comes from, and in Switzerland. He feels that by empowering children with a good education, it allows them to make their future and take their future in their own hands so they can play an active part in shaping it. He believes that children are the future, the heroes yet to come. He believes they have dreams and that every child, no matter where it comes from, has the right to dream and to achieve his goal. How wonderful for him to have been able to donate so much to so many in his desire to become a hero of their future. In his desire to become a hero of their future. My next hero is called Alice Battenberg. Her great-grandmother was actually Queen Victoria. The poor little thing was born deaf, and she was named an oddball by her family because she was different. Alice married Prince Andrew of Greece, and they had 3 daughters and 1 son. They lived in a time when Greece was going through a great deal of political turmoil, and they were forced into exile to run away from their home twice. As Alice was deaf, she found it difficult to understand what was going on. She found it difficult to express herself. Her family thought she was ill, and they sent her to a sanatorium, the picture on the picture on the right of the hospital, because she was an inconvenience to them. While she was locked away, she missed her daughter's weddings, and she missed seeing her son grow up. When she finally dismissed herself from hospital, she never went home because she didn't want to be seen by them, and she felt they didn't want her at home. Instead, she went to help the poor and needy in Athens. During the Second World War, she set up soup kitchens for the poor in Athens, and she used her royal status to get supplies. She was actually very cunning, because when the German officers questioned her as to what she was doing, she played on her deafness, and she made out that she didn't understand, which she didn't really. The Germans got fed up with trying to question her, so they let her pass by. She was really very lucky. After the war, she gave up everything to become a Greek Orthodox nun. She wore a horrible grey robe, and she went on to help more and more downtrodden and persecuted people, especially the Jews. She had a street named after her in Jerusalem. Well, actually, this lady, who was a hero to the poor and the needy and the war people in Athens, is the Queen's husband's mother. The Queen's husband, Prince Philip, never really knew much about his mother when he was young because she was locked away and he was sent to boarding school. She was born with her deafness and she was treated badly because of it. But she emerged to help others in her own way. When she became old, the Queen and Prince Philip decided to bring her back to England so that she could live with her family for her last years. She died in 1967. A war hero. My next hero is will.i.am. I expect you know him. He's an American rapper who co-hosts The Voice. He is hailed as a hero in the music world, but he too has a story which embraces his resilience. This man was born in Los Angeles in 1975. He was raised by his poor mother after his father disappeared. He was raised in a ghetto or a slum called the LA Projects. You can see it on the right of the slide. His mother was on benefits, and he always said he was 2 minutes from being homeless. His mother worked hard to give him the best chance she could. From an early age, it was obvious that Will had music, and this helped him to look beyond his awful situation and surroundings. He struggled at school, and it was later discovered that he had ADHD, and this caused him to work longer hours and to be very creative. He could not sit still. He had to get a move on and do stuff. He had a lucky break at high school when he met another rapper called Aldi-App, and together they formed a musical career, including being in the group Black Eyed Peas. This career helped them to get themselves from where they were to where they are now. will.i.am has moved on to become the most wonderful music producer, songwriter, singer, and TV presenter in the UK, Australia, and America. Pretty good for a boy from the slums. But it is not just because of his musical prowess that I admire will.i.am. This bonkers, crazy, funny man has done an awful lot for people who are less fortunate than himself. Considering where he came from, I think this is a very kind thing. It endears him to me. He has committed a lot to inspire kids to stay in school, to not give up, to follow on from school and go to university or college, and to become the leaders of tomorrow. Through his donations, he has opened the door to many. He has set up the I Am Foundation and the I Am STEM Foundation, both in America and UK. And through the Prince's Trust, he helps to provide learning, interactive opportunities which go way beyond the classroom for children who do not have these opportunities when they are at school. You may notice from the pictures on the right that he is a strong supporter of the first robotics leagues too. He has been involved in robotics for years in America, and I'm sure Mr. and Mrs. Murphy and their robotics teams will join me in thinking that he is a robotics hero as well. The fourth person I'd like to introduce you to is Bella Lack, a young girl who comes from Twickenham, which is not far from here. Do you know her? Perhaps not. To me, she is amazing, and I hope you will agree after listening to her story. Although Bella is now 19, her career started when she was only 11. She is an environmentalist. When she was a toddler, her love of nature began. She was fascinated by the ants and slugs and snails in her garden, and she'd crawl around on her tummy looking at them. From here, she developed a fascination for great apes and elephants and learnt as much as she could about them. By the age of 11, she was independently raising money for the Born Free movement, which Mrs. Reed has introduced us to via her swim marathons. From 11, Bella became a Born Free ambassador. She opened up a Twitter account and wrote blogs about endangered animals. By the age of 15, she was also made the youth ambassador for the RSPCA, Save the Elephants, and the Jane Goodall Gorilla Institute. By the age of 15, Bella was speaking at conferences, and she spoke to a group of 10,000 people at the People's Walk for Life. This young lady quietly encouraged society to change its habits. She's not attaching blame, suggesting instead we should all work together to save our planet. She asked us to think about what the world might look like in 2050. Perhaps it would not be ravaged by climate change if we changed our habits. Perhaps it would be more sustainable and society would live together with nature and with animals, and we would all be healthy. The problem with the scientific notion of climate change is that it's constantly telling us about disaster. Wouldn't it be more effective, Bella said, if we asked the people to strive for something better? Don't blame them, encourage them. You are a hero, Bella, for sending an incredibly positive message to all the heroes who follow behind you and all those who went before. You will change the world. You will strive to make a better environment for our earth, and we thank you. To conclude, I suggest you do a bit of research about Bella Lack, listen to some of her talks, watch some of her movies. And now, my little heroes of today, don't forget to clap tonight for the heroes of our country at the moment, and have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.